What is up, Scrub fam? I'm back with another deck profile. This is Red Green Gotenks. This is the hype. This is one of the most exciting draft box leaders to come out of the draft box itself. This is a build that I've been messing with a lot. It's a build that I've been having a lot of fun with a lot. And it's a deck that's really cool. Before I get into the deck profile, a few things. Number one, shout out to Bearded Collectibles, best sponsor in the entire world. Alec Pastrana, he's an amazing representative of this community, and he's an amazing face for Dragon Ball Super, the card game in general, and he's an amazing shop owner, so be sure to check out his new shop that's opening up down in Florida. And also, be sure to check him out. He'll be at the Orlando Regional. Give him a shout out. Go say hi. You'll recognize him because he's got a really, really big beard. And then I want to give another shout out to content creators. So the Hill Twins, shout out to them with their posts to continue to garner interest for other content creators. Please be sure to go to the channel, like, subscribe, get your notifications because they produce great content. They have really great personalities. I really enjoyed meeting them in person as well as hanging out with them. And then be sure to check out Team Death Note out of the Connecticut area. They were also at Connecticut Regionals. They're starting to ramp up content even more so. And then Hermit Style Gaming, please be sure to check them out. They're group based out of Hampton Roads. They've been doing a lot of work so far in just getting their content uploaded. They have a website, hermanstylegaming.com, and they also have a YouTube channel which they just uploaded a Hartford, Connecticut kind of a recap and vlog of the weekend thing. So please be sure to check out them as well. Also, huge shout out. I don't know if you guys have noticed by this super sweet overlay and new logo that I have for the channel, which I'm extremely excited about. Logan Cordell, he took the time and he made this stuff for me for the channel. He's a huge fan of the channel from what he said, and I'm just super thankful he decided to take the time and make these cool graphics for me. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope you guys enjoy it too and like the new fresh logo and things like that. Otherwise, though, let's jump right into the deck profile because that's what you guys are all waiting for. So let's start out with our leader. We're going to start out with Gotenks. So when he attacks your opponent's leader, if you have less cards in hand than your opponent does, they choose one card and then discard it. And then, of course, Awaken, when your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip this card over to the Awaken side. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Awaken. When this card attacks your opponent's leader, if I have less cards than them, they discard a card. And then, of course, auto, when this card attacks, draw a card. So this leader is really neat in the format because he forces your opponent to play a completely different style game than they actually want to play. Because instead of them wanting to hold more cards in the early game, they're actually going to want to start spending their resources a little bit earlier because that one card discard gets really annoying over the course of the game, and the value continues to build up over the course of the game. And this deck is really built around maximizing that value. You get to spend more on your turns, whether if it's cards or if you want a combo, just to get more opportunities for your opponent to have to discard a card. And then, of course, you get to put pressure on your opponent in that way, because if you're attacking with a double striker, you're feeding them cards, and then you can swing with your leader, make them pitch a card. And then you also force people to have to, like, reduce the amount of counters they have in their hand, because if they just keep holding onto their counters and all you do is swing with their leader, they keep having to discard really important pieces of their hand for them to actually be able to win the game. So this leader creates a really interesting game state where your opponent, like I said, has to be focused on the amount of cards you have in your hand, and then also has to manage their own resources, their own cards, so they don't keep getting hit by that discard effect. So I really like this leader, and I think he brings, again, another great thing to add to aggro, just because the fact that making your opponent discard is sometimes, if not often, better than actually having critical, because you're discarding a known quantity and then your opponent is drawing then an unknown quantity, as opposed to them maintaining the card that they had in hand and then just not drawing the extra card. So Gotenks is a really strong leader. So now we'll go into the battle cards. So we have 4 Saiyan Kaba. This is a 1-drop. In this deck, it's not so bad when you play it early because you put earlier pressure on your opponent. It is one of the ways that we can awaken, but it also is great at the mid and even late portions of the game because it's a one energy threat that you can play that has double strike that can seal a game for you. So we run 4 Kabas because it's great at any point in the game. We run 4 Mighty Mask. So a lot of people think that Mighty Mask is kind of counterintuitive to what you want to do with Gotenks, but Not necessarily. So there are a few things where, yeah, Mighty Mask, it's gonna basically gain you 2 cards, but at the same time, you can swing with it, combo, get your hand lower, then pop it to refill your hand, so then you never really lost those cards, and you still have less cards than your opponent. Or if your opponent is really trying to like keep their hand extremely low, you can bait them to a fact where they just keep their hand extremely low, and then you actually can just overwhelm them with card advantage that they can't come back from. So Mighty Mask, you just have to be more like methodical in your plays, but Mighty Mask is still great in the deck. It can also fetch your 10k boost. It can also fetch a leap to the Goten, a leap to the future Goten, so then you can just pitch the Goten and pitch something else, and then go fetch one of your Gotenks. So you're trading the 2 cards in your hand for 1, so you're getting that back down. But otherwise, I still like Mighty Mask in the deck. Also, it opens up sideboard capability, so if you want to side into blue, all you have to do is just side in a blue Goten, a blue Trunks, or however you want to do it, and then just side in your blue cards. So it opens up that ability, and all you have to do is just play Mighty Mask main deck. For Miraculous Comeback Ultimate Gohan, in this deck, this card's almost always live because of the way that you're going to be trying to keep your hand size low. And so, again, I run 4 in this deck because at any point, you'll be able to play this in the early, mid, or later parts of the game to be able to put pressure on the opponent, because, of course, your opponent is going to be afraid of you. You're going to have a low hand size, and so whenever you swing with your leader, they discard a card, and then you'll play this. Again, you have another threat on the board. It's a double striker that they're either going to have to spin cards to combo over, spin the negate on, or spend their counter spells on, like Cold Bloodlust or Crusher Ball. So this is a great card at eating up those resources that your opponent has, and again, is a threat that you can present at any point in the game. Over 4 10k boost, so standard, you're going to run these no matter what. 4 energy powered Gotenks. Really love this card. I know it's kind of redundant with the leader itself, but I like the redundancy. And also, this is another threat that's great at any point in the game. Whether it's early, mid, late, it's awesome because it's just, okay, my opponent is trying to hold their cards or hoard their cards. All right, I'm going to drop this Gotenks. I'm going to swing. They're pitching a card no matter what. Okay, so now they pitch a card. I'll swing with my leader. They have to pitch another card. So they just lost 2 cards, and they either took the 2 damage to replace those cards, or they had to combo or spin negates. So again, great card at any point of the game. It's tutorable like this card. 2 ability Unleashed Ultimate Gohan. I really like. This was a suggestion from Michael Joe Vogt. I was talking to him about the deck itself, and I normally had this at 4, but we reduced the count because really the ability is good. Like drawing cards and having double strike is good, but you really want to draw the card either later in the game or have double strike later in the game. It's not something that I want in the early part of the game. So, but either way, I like it in the deck. It can be an additional finisher that you don't have to spend much energy on, so I really like it in this build. Our Goten package, run 2 Leap to the Future and 2 Sun Goten Family of Justice. This card has come in huge for me just because I've been able to clear a blocker out of the way and be able to swing for game, or I've been able to just get something that's low costed off the board, so anything that's 3 or less, just kill it. But I really also like it because I can tutor it, and it's another source of green energy if I ever need to hit double green on turn 4, which is a thing that you might often have to do in order to play some of your spells that we have in the 4-drop slot, because pretty much everything I have in the 4 is all green. Actually, everything I have in the 4 is green. So Mighty Mask will allow me to fetch a Sun Goten, charge it, and then I'll be able to hit my green on the 4th turn, which is exactly what I need to be on curve. 3 Fury Shell Vegetas. These were originally TNs in some initial builds. I definitely prefer the Furious Yells over the TNs because Furious Yell, it does everything I want, where it provides unconditional removal, it's a threat, and then at the same time, it can get me closer to Awakening, and I don't really need to draw the extra cards. So more and more in my testing, and Pat O'Neill, shout out to Pat O'Neill, love Pat, he thinks TN is a bad card. The more and more I play with TN versus Furious Shell, I just like Furious Shell better. I can combo with it for only 1 energy. It does what I want it to do. It fits this deck amazingly, and again, unconditional removal is strong. We have 3 Determined Super Saiyan Son Gohan. This is just more removal in the 4 spot. Has crit, which is great, but can kill anything unconditionally. 3 Hidden Awakening Kales. The more and more I play with Kale in this format, the more and more I realize that it's probably one of the best, if not the best, battle card that came out of green this set. This card's absolutely incredible with the crit. Also, if you have 5 or less cards, draw a card. And then, of course, when it comes into play, you can pop one of your things, which you'll have plenty of them, to be able to blow up to 5 costs of your opponent's stuff. So it's really good in the mirror when you're playing against other token-based strategies and things like that. We run 3 Ghost Attack Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. If you're playing a Gotenks deck, why not? It's tutorable, it's easy for me to get. I'll be able to play it. I probably won't play it on curve. Probably to play it a turn later. Sometimes play it on curve if you know you can go for game. And also my hand size stays relatively low, so the tokens will all have the double strike. And then 2 Super Saiyan Gotenks. So I play 3-2, 3 Ghost Attack, 2 Super Saiyan Gotenks, because the Super Saiyan Gotenks you can play on 5 with no problem whatsoever. You don't need to leave counter back up. So I really like that ratio. And I may even switch it to 3 Super Saiyan Gotenks, 2 Ghost Attack Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, just based off of testing so far. But I really like the Ghost Attack because it synergizes with the Kamikaze Ghost. Alright, so now let's just go into the extra cards. We have 4 Vados Assistants. It's the red negate. No point in not playing it. Negate an attack and then ready one of your battle cards. So this is actually really good in a lot of spots, especially if you need to be able to swing for your game and your opponent's trying to kill one of your threats. So you can just negate, untap, you're good to go. And then again, it's just the red negate. And again, a lot of times you're just going to be leaving one energy up or spending all your energy on a turn, so it doesn't really matter. 2 Father-Son Kamehameha. This is really mostly just because you're going to be playing against stuff that's trying to play cards early. So if you're playing against a deck that runs TN and they get a TN out early, you can kill it for free. If you're playing any deck that's playing on curve, you can punish them by playing this card. Or if you're playing against any of the Union builds, so Union Cell, or any sort of the Union Fusion builds, you can just Father-Son Kamehameha when the threat gets out there early, and then it's gone. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You didn't have to spend that much energy on it. So I just really like this card as a removal. You could also test out Enraged Sun Gohan Awakenings in this slot, or if you even want to play Morgan Negates, you can play Full Power Energies. But either way, there you go. And then this card, Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack. This pretty much makes the whole entire deck work. It brings the whole entire deck together because this is 2 15k threats that you can play on any turn of the game once you get to turn 2 and beyond. A lot of the times this is my turn 2 play because of the amount of pressure it creates and allows me to be able to force my opponent's hand size higher. So basically it'll go to my turn, I'll put my second energy down, I'll play Super Ghost Kamikaze Attack, put out 2 ghosts, swing, swing, swing with leader, they discard, done. And then now I've gotten their hand size down, I've put pressure on them, and they have to answer these threats. What's great about playing this on turn 2, there's very little threats on your opponent's turn 3 that they're going to be able to play to kill your 2 ghost tokens. So the earlier you play this and the more often you play this, the likelihood of you winning is just increased. So otherwise, this has been Red, Green, Gotenks. I really like the deck a lot. I think that going into this weekend, it's really well positioned. Depending on what you want to do with the sideboard, you can, like I said, you can splash blue if you want to, if you need to run beans and negates and things like that. But this is one of those aggro decks that just kind of fits into that window in the format right now that is a really sweet spot, because you're able to put pressure on the opponent and you can close the door on people really fast, and all those reactive strategies rely on having time to be able to charge energy and build up to their plays on turns 4, 5, 6, 7 and beyond. And against the cell builds, you just need to go wide, overwhelm them, and then keep your hand count low, so then the fact if they even try and play their cells, it's just not going to pay off for them. But otherwise, I'm a huge fan of this deck itself. I think it has a really good spot in the metagame, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Again, Scrub fam, you are best fam. Thank you so much. Please be on the lookout, Beater Collectibles. My shirts are coming soon. Okay, bye!